Hello, my name is Breganowski.
And I'm Austin Morales, and you're listening to The Inner Gamer On.
Each week, we dive into a hot topic about video games, and this week, we're going to talk about video games we want remade.
And as always, if you enjoyed this content, please like, subscribe, and bang that bell, because we know you want to. Right, Brett? Oh, my gosh.
Obviously, we had Resident Evil 2 remake last year. We had Resident Evil 3 remake this year. We had Final Fantasy 7 remake this year. We've had several other games getting remade, like Spyro the Dragon and Crash Bandicoot. But what has not been announced as being remade, and what would be worth seeing a remake for? When we say remake, we're obviously not talking about a remaster. We're talking about like a totally rebuilt, re-envisioned Resident Evil or Final Fantasy, built from the ground up, new envisioning of this series.
Before we get started, I wanted to say that I did a poll the last podcast when we talked about Resident Evil 3 remake, and I asked, are people fans of remakes? And we got 62% yes and 38% no.
I'm still kind of indifferent about it, but I could see with the right kind of game, I like the idea of a remake. I haven't personally gone out and bought a game that I wanted to be remade and replayed it as a remake, so I don't really know what the experience is like yet. But if one of these gets remade, I will know what the experience is like, and I'm really excited. Actually, I think the first one will be the Crysis remake that they're doing. That game was beautiful when it came out, and I'm anxious to see what more beauty they can put into it. I just hope they fix the map, because I feel like there's a lot of traveling between places. But then again, it actually wasn't that bad compared to nowadays games where there's lots of traveling between places, because they're much bigger than they were before.
Yeah, you're right.
We're going to start with number one. These are in no particular order. The first one I think both Austin and I are in agreement with. Battlefield 2142. 2142 was that game that got all of us excited. That game was so different, very realistic, futuristic shooter. I like that, and I would love to see, now that we have like beautiful graphics and environments and stuff like that, how they would reimagine this game in today's vein, especially like jumping up on those Titans, like that would look like.
Yes.
The interior of the Titan in this game was not very big. I mean, just imagine how expansive they can make it now, and what they could do with the terrain and all the environments and the different vehicles, and just, I mean, there's so much like atmospheric stuff that could be done, like lighting and the visual scenery, and I don't know, there's so many pieces to this, and I think that would be just a killer remake.
Oh yeah,
killer.
Man.
Number two, I played the shit out of this game, and it's called The Movies. Did you ever play The Movies?
Dude, I wanted to get this so bad.
For me, it was pretty well ahead of its time. It came out in 2005, built by Lionhead Studios. One part of it was building a movie studio. There's different places for the movie actors to play, but then you also could go in and like make your own films. You can make stop motion films, and you could eventually upgrade to do more and more. And you were literally like editing and cutting films in this game. Man, I played so much of it.
It looks so cool, man.
So good, so well designed. And that was an Activision published game, which I didn't even realize. Those are the good old days of Activision. And they also later on brought out an expansion pack that I played a little bit called Stunts and Effects. More places for your cameras, and you can have like car chase scenes and all that stuff, which was a lot of fun. Had a blast with this game. Wish it would come back in full force. I definitely could see people coming back to play The Movies. Next one, what do you got for me, Austin?
I got RE4. Surprisingly, I never played it. But
really?
The reason I want a remake is because I haven't played it. There's rumors that RE4 is already in the works. People said it's one of the better Resident Evil games of our time. So please make it so I can play it and enjoy the experience I never had.
RE4 sounds like a good one. I'm all for that. Need for Speed Underground. I know everybody out there listening would agree with this. This was the time when like Fast and the Furious was like really big. This game, Need for Speed Underground, I would love to see remade, because I was all about the Honda S2000 in that game, and I would pimp that ride so hard, and it would look so good, and I would just win all the races. And just being able to the customization options in this is before like video games had customization options to the level of detail that they do now. In this game, you didn't have to pay for any of it. It was just there, and it was awesome. And I would just spend hours upon hours just customizing all these different cars to look the way I wanted them to, and then take them out to the track and race them. I loved it. And I would love to see it get remade.
I love this one, man. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
I played so much of it. I think I beat it, and just like the cars they have, man, they're just so good.
I also just realized I forgot. I want to add a 4A to this list. Test Drive Unlimited also needs to be remade in today's society. That's a definite need, just because I want modern day server technology with that game world and game itself and that world they built. Just make it all like modern graphics in the Unreal Engine 4. Oh, so good.
Yeah,
so good.
I agree.
All right, next up, what do you got, Austin?
I got Metroid Prime, because it's also a game I didn't play and I need to play it. And everyone says it was really good. I've heard good things about it. And I think in this day and age, obviously, yeah, they can make a lot of awesome stuff. It look really good. The environments and everything. I want it. I want it now.
Yeah. Metroid Prime is definitely, I mean, it's a namesake for sure. Like, people loved it. And I never played it either. So I would love to play that. I'm really anxious to see what Metroid Prime 4 looks like and plays like. I read that they've potentially are going to release a Metroid Prime trilogy this year with all the Metroid Prime games minus 4 on the Switch. I don't know if they're going to be remastered or what level of detail they're going to get into with it, but that's promising.
Yeah, I hope it's a pretty good amount of detail. I need that in my life.
What is not promising, but hopefully will exist at some point in my life, is a remade NFL Blitz, because that is the best football game ever made and needs to come back. I want the big ass heads. I want the flaming feet. I want the unrealistic rule sets where you can basically just tackle the shit out of people and go off sides and do all this stuff all the time and never have to worry about it and just like break the rules and just beat the shit out of other players on the field. It's the best.
I see where your mind's at, Brett.
Yeah. It's so good. Did you ever play it? You
No,
played
I
Blitz. No, you never did?
No. I'm not a football guy, man.
What kind of human being? I'm not either. But I played it, man. It was so good. So good.
Different time. And
There was
place.
a turbo button. You could like turn on turbo for your player and make them run twice as fast.
All right, that's funny.
It was amazing. One of these days, somebody out there will remake it, and then I'll be happy and can continue my life forward.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, went with it. But Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, KOTOR.
Yes.
This is a BioWare game, right?
It is a BioWare game.
Yeah.
I don't know how many hours I sunk into this, but I guarantee it's close to 200. I did everything and then some. You know, I explored everywhere. I if this game had achievements, I 100% it multiple times.
Was it? It was not an MMO or a multiplayer game, right?
It was not.
Or was it?
It was not.
It was just like a single player RPG experience akin to like Mass Effect, but in the Star Wars universe.
Exactly. And it was quite amazing. A lot of customization. For the time, it was good storytelling. They could do a lot nowadays. I mean, this could even probably be a co-op game at this point. There was a mod coming out that some people were remaking it, and then Disney was like, cease and desist, because we have lots of money and you're nobody to us. So, you know, screw the fans for trying to do something they love and promote Star Wars further. They need to make it. Like, it just needs to be, something needs to come out.
All right, number 8 we have is a Rockstar game called Bully. I never played it back in the day because I figured if I bought it, my mom would come in and be like, what kind of game are you playing, you horrible kid? I was like, okay, I'm just going to stay away from it then. But here you are, like this jerk kid at some like highly privileged school and walk around like being a big bully to everybody. I'm interested to experience that and how they would do it today.
Yeah, I never got to play it. It's another one I really wanted to play. It looked interesting.
One game I would love to see remade is not Age of Empires 2, but Age of Mythology, because that game had gods, and gods could do powerful things. And for that, it was awesome. And I want that again, but in like good graphics and modern day times. Let's make it happen.
Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty. This is another one that everybody was like, you got to play this game. It's amazing. Everyone was talking about it when I was in elementary school, junior high, and I just never got to play it. And obviously it's like old now, but I think if they remade that, that would be an awesome game. That'd be remade. Now, I don't know if it should be remade since Kojima's not with Konami anymore, but man, I would still like to see it. Maybe they come back together and do it again.
I think it's crazy that all the games on your list are games that you never played that you just wanted to play to get them remade. And then my games were like, I played them and want to relive them in today's society. I like that. I like that we took like different approaches to this same topic and stuff. It's kind of cool.
Oh yeah. Max Payne is probably the only one that I've played that one I want to see come back.
Yeah, Max Payne was good. Yeah. I also thought about putting Fear on my list, but that game scares the shit out of me, so I don't want to do that.
That'd be a good one, but I don't know. I got a decent amount of playtime out of Fear, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Nominees come back.
If you could pick one to come back, and only one, what would be your game to have remade?
Hands down, Battlefield 2142.
Really?
I've been talking about. Really? You didn't know that?
No, I thought you were going to say Knights of the Old Republic, actually.
No, well, okay, look, it's a great game, but that is a game I've been talking about for I don't know how many years. It needs to come back because I love Battlefield games. I love that online experience and that, like, the technology that they introduced there with the net that they have for that story is interesting, and they could do a lot of cool stuff with it.
Yeah, no, I like that. Yeah, I would love to see that game come back. I'm still fighting with, like, I would love to see another Battlefield Vietnam because I feel like that game was so underappreciated because there wasn't a lot of plane combat. It was more tightly contained maps where there's a lot of like jungle height variation battles. That was such an interesting game. But 2142 definitely. I felt like it was a game that came out earlier than it should have in life. One of the things that I didn't like about 2142 is I felt like it was kind of bland. It was because you couldn't put a lot of texture and detail into this back then. And I would love for them to take that same concept and bring it back now because we have so many different textures and effects and things that we can put into a game to just make that so much more immersive looking.
Oh, yes.
I mean, like just seeing what like Titans look like in Titanfall, you know, like if they could take that kind of level of fidelity and put it into this game, man, it would be so good.
And I forgot to add that they had mechs in that game. Like,
yeah,
holy shit, they were awesome stuff. So, what about yours?
I would say 2142 as well.
All right.
Because all the other ones, like I mean, I'd love to play all those, but like 2142 is a game that I can enjoy with my friends. And I just think has the most potential to have a significantly noticeable enhancement. The movies, I think I would love to see that played again, but it's in its solo experience. Need for Speed Underground, I felt like we've visited those games a lot, and I think it would definitely be awesome to see that come back. But like Need for Speed Heat, I haven't played yet, but it sounds like it kind of can touch on that a little bit, but different time and place. Blitz definitely has to happen at some point, but as far as longevity and just the potential of increase, I think 2142 definitely has it, like, because they could bring those maps back in more ways, unimaginable ways. Yeah, I want that to return. I also want Commander mode to return. That'd be great. There's a lot riding on
that'd be cool.
Battlefield 6.
Isn't that crazy? There was a Commander mode with its own app that you could actually play with people online. On PC.
Oh, I know. It was
like,
awesome.
Mind blown. I remember I had my little iPad mini and was playing on that.
It was
and I was
great.
like, what the? This is so weird.
I wonder if they're going to go the route of what they're doing with Resident Evil right now, where they're just like remaking them in order. Like, what if they start doing that where we had Battlefield 1, which never did a World War I game, but then we went to World War II. Then maybe next we're going to go to Modern Combat. Well, actually, no, they skipped Vietnam. They should have done Vietnam first and then went to Modern Combat. And then went onward into the future.
I think they went to because it encompasses multiple ethnicities. I think that makes sense. And then, Modern Combat and then Back to the Future. That'd be awesome.
I hope they do it soon. I bet you they will. I think there's a need for that.
Oh, yeah. Well, because
Call of Duty tried it, didn't do as well, but I think they could really pull it off.
Yeah, well, there's not, they don't have to make a campaign for it. They don't have to justify a bunch of stuff. It's just like, here's Battlefield and here's some toys. And I go kill people.
Yeah, have fun.
But what I'm afraid is by the time that happens, we might be too old to even enjoy online gaming anymore.
It's true.
We might be in our 40s by the time that happens, Brett, and we'll be like, I can't keep up with anybody.
Oh, man. Dude, that's scary to think about. No, I don't want to think about that.
I know.
Just stay young. Stay young.
We're in our 30s, and there's a whole decade of stuff we have to wait that happens.
I know. By the time we turn 40 is when we'll see Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2.
Oh, my God. Well, I'm talking about we might not see 2142 till then. And then, at that point, there's no way we're going to be able to compete with these people.
It'll literally be 2142 by the time we see 2142. In 122 years, they'll release it in VAR, virtual augmented reality.
Jesus.
And it'll basically be Modern Combat at that point.
Yeah.
If you have any games that we are missing from this list, which I'm sure there are many, let us know in the comments or send us a message on any social channel and give us your feedback. We'd love to hear what games we may have missed or games that you think should be remade. If you want to contribute to next week's segment, you can give us a shout out to innergamer.net or join us on our Discord channel with a link in the show notes.